Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be cooking up 3 delicious vegan recipes that will make you want to stay vegan after Veganuary, just because they're so good.
If you're not a vegan, if you are a vegan, there is something in this video that you're gonna love because all of these recipes are just downright delicious. The first recipe that we're gonna be showing you, and we'll get onto that in just a second, is a tofu recipe with a really interesting technique that's a great alternative to mince. It's not just your cube, it's not just your crumble. You're gonna wanna stick around and watch what we're up to.
The second recipe is a proper warming winter weeknight meal, and it's one of those things that's perfect for making in batch, so you've got stuff for leftovers in the fridge or the freezer for later on in the week.
And the third and last recipe that we're going to be showing you today is a really great, everyday, quick, no fuss meal, also using tofu, which I know you're going to love.
The great thing about all of these recipes is that they're all using a really amazing source of vegan plant-based protein, so you're going to be left feeling really full and really satisfied after all of these meals.
So let's just get into the first recipe, which is the sweet, smoky, spicy tofu tacos.
The tofu technique that we mentioned earlier for this recipe is that we are actually grating the tofu, as you can see here. So just like you would grate a block of cheese, and this is going to get coated in some corn flour, and then we're going to bake it in the oven, and it's going to make the pieces really crispy and just delicious, a bit like maybe a mince or a pulled pork kind of thing. But it's just a nice way of mixing up instead of doing cubes, and especially in something like a taco, you get that kind of like pulled mince, pulled pork, jackfruity kind of thing, but you're getting all the great protein from it. One thing I will also say is that you could definitely do this in an air fryer, which would speed up your cooking time. We don't have an air fryer, so we're going straight in the oven. While the tofu is baking in the oven, we're gonna get on and make the cooking sauce that the tofu is gonna go into once it's come out of the oven. And this is gonna be a really nice, sweet, smoky, kind of Tex-Mex inspired sauce. And then after that, we'll get on and make the other elements that are going in the taco, which are really gonna kind of bring everything together. But for now, I'm gonna put some oil in a hot pan with some onion and garlic. This is kind of inspired by a barbecue sauce, so we're doing the ketchup, the tomato puree, and the soy sauce, and then adding in that smoky paprika and also some brown sugar. And then we're also adding in a few more of the like Mexican flavors, like the cumin and the dried oregano and the lime. So it's going to be this kind of sweet, smoky, a bit spicy, Tex-Mexy sauce. And this is going to coat our crispy tofu pieces.
They say dress for the job you want. Turns out I want to be a red cabbage.
They're literally the same colour.
It is quite a classic fresh slaw, so we are going with the red cabbage, we've got some spring onion, and we've got some carrots going in there too, and then that's going to be paired with a nice bit of zingy lime juice and a little bit of sweetness just to bring everything out as well. So the key is to make sure you get super thin slices. You want this to be shredded, almost. If you had a mandolin, that would be perfect for this job. But otherwise, a nice sharp knife will do just fine. If you slice it on the diagonal like this, you end up getting much nice, longer, thinner pieces.
We absolutely love slaw. They're so versatile. Great for things like tacos and burgers, salad bowls, barbecues, so it's always like one of our go-to little things to add into things to make them a bit more interesting. Delicious. It's really punchy. It's like the lime and the agave. Perfect combination. One of my favourite things about this recipe, apart from the crispy shredded tofu, is the garlic and chive mayo. So that is what we're going to get on with and make next. For this part of the recipe, we would normally use a plain mayo and add in fresh garlic or garlic granules, but they didn't have any plain vegan mayo at the shop. They only had this Plant Pioneers vegan garlic mayo, which is great because that takes out one less thing for us to do. It's already in there. We want our mayo to be nice and drizzly, so we want to thin it down a bit. So we are using almond milk, but you could use any plant milk for this. This is exactly the texture we're looking for, nice and crispy. Yeah, that's going to be delicious. So now our crispy tofu is done. We've got our lovely fresh slaw, we've got the garlic and chive mayo, and then we've got coriander and our other toppings ready to go, so we can now just assemble our tacos. Let's give this a go. That is so good. It's fresh, zingy, punchy. There's so many nice textures going on. You've got the soft taco and the lovely creamy mayo, but then you've got the really lovely crispy tofu and then the crunch. All the textures going on, all the flavors. It's absolutely delicious, and I would say getting proper corn tortillas really does make it taste that much better. It's more authentic. It can be a little bit hard to get your hands on them in the UK, but we got these in the like American food aisle in Sainsbury's, and they just taste amazing. Like that corny flavour is just on to the next recipe. Our next recipe is a proper weeknight classic. We're going to be making a lovely warming dal. And the thing that makes this dal a little bit different is that it's a tarka dal, so we will get to the tarka part of the dal later on. But for now, we're going to get straight on with cooking our lentils. This is what my granddad used in his recipes, mainly for ease, but we wanted to kind of keep as close to his recipe as possible because it was so delicious when he made it for us. But if you don't have ginger and garlic paste, then fresh ginger, fresh garlic, you could just use a microplane and grate it up nice and finely. This recipe is based off of a recipe that my granddad gave to us. He is Indian and we went to visit him at the end of last year. He's in his 90s now, so he spent his lifetime cooking amazing Indian meals, learning from his mother, my great-grandmother. So we wanted to go and visit him and also just get some of his amazing insight into these recipes. So he took us through this recipe, we wrote it all down, we've made a few little tweaks. Obviously, like some of the things that we veganized, but one of the things that he added in was some courgette. And he's very like relaxed in his cooking approach. It was like, just add in a bit of courgette, or you could add in a bit of tomato, or you could add in a bit, you know, whatever you want kind of thing. So we tried it with the courgette, it was delicious. So we're going to show you guys with the courgette in as well. You could obviously sub it out for something else like an aubergine, or just not at all, but it is really nice, so we would recommend that you try it. Our lentils have been cooking away, our courgette is cooked through, and everything is almost ready to serve up. So we're going to add in our tarka now, and tarka is essentially onions cooked in oil with spices, and you get lovely crispy onions. I'm sure you can hear them. They sound very crispy. And then we added in some garam masala, and they're smelling amazing. Those gorgeous spices and the sweet red onion, and we're going to stir that through the dal and then leaving a little bit left for the topping. So that's it. It's a very simple recipe, and actually a lot of the time you're just leaving things cooking on the hob so you can get on with other things, which is what we were doing just now. So it's perfect for those kind of evenings when you're very tired at home, you just want something nice and warming and hearty. So the last thing to do is just add on some toppings. We're going to be adding in a little bit of vegan cream just to swell in. Some vegan yogurt would also be really nice. And then we're going to do a sprinkle of coriander, and then we've got our tarka that we've saved back, just a little bit of those crispy onions for the top as well. I might also go on with a little bit of crispy chili oil, just because it adds a really nice vibrant red colour, which is going to look gorgeous in those kind of like ochre coloured lentils, and it's going to add a little bit extra heat because the garam masala is more of like a fragrant spice as opposed to a heat spice. So if you like things a bit spicy, then a little bit of chili oil on the top is going to be delicious. And I think we're going to serve it with some naan bread, but rice would be lovely too, chapati, roti, anything like that. It's going to be delicious, so can't wait to try it.
This looks and smells amazing, so nothing left to do but try it. That tastes so good. What's really interesting is this isn't similar to other dals that I've had. Instead of big, bold flavors. It's just really aromatic and really delicate, which is really interesting.
I think that's what's nice about the chili oil, is that it just gives you that little bit of kick.
So we're going to move on to the next recipe now, but it is breaking my heart because this is so tasty. But a great thing about this recipe is how good it is at storing.
We've got one here for the freezer and one here for the fridge. This is going to be about 2 portions in each Tupperware.
We're going to get on with the next recipe now, which is going to be our dinner, which is a no-fuss, weeknight gochujang noodle bowl. This recipe is absolutely bursting with flavor. I mean, with the tofu, you have gochujang, the ginger, the garlic, all of that kind of stuff going on. But when it comes to the noodles, we've got an extra little flavor boost that we'll show you later. But for now, let's just get started with the tofu.
This can definitely feel like a bit of a workout. To make the sauce for the noodles. You could just keep these plain, but if you want some extra flavor, then we've come up with a simple little sauce, which is going to be chili oil, sesame oil, and miso. So we're just going to mix that in a little bowl together, and then we'll pour that over our noodles, mix it all together just before serving. Trying to get a bit of everything. Well, not everything, 2 things. The noodles have that lovely umami miso flavor, which is a little bit more earthy and sweet, and then the gochujang tofu is kind of a bit more fiery and zesty, so the two together are so tasty. And then we've got all these lovely fresh ingredients like the grated carrot and the little cucumber rounds. This is a very nice, fresh, delicious, warming, no fuss weeknight meal. These recipes were all absolutely delicious.
Oh my god, yes.
Can't wait for you guys to try them as well. So let us know down in the comments which one you are going to be making first, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes.
As this is where you need to be for all the best vegan content.
We have so many vegan videos on our channel, everything from lazy meals to travel to
what I eat in a days, what I eat in a weeks, food shops, everything. So make sure you go and check out all those videos on our channel, and we will see you in our next video.
Bye.
I don't know if I can even choose a fave. They're all quite different in the best way.